What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mike Sims coming to you today on a somber day. Today is September 11th. Is the anniversary of the attack on American soil. There's also a lot of things happening in the headlines that ultimately I want to talk about. I remember September 11th, the day of 2001, like it was literally yesterday. I was at home and I woke up to hear the news of a plane crashing into the building and then quickly watched everything unfold that unfolded. And I remember that day more than ever as an American, I felt threatened at home. And that's something up until that point in my life I never experienced. I had the privilege of living in this country and not worrying about these types of things up until this point in my life. And it still was with me. It's still scarring with me, as bad as it was to watch unfold. I remember that day watching it, previously being at the area where the buildings were hit and ultimately collapsed. Prior to it happening, I thought tens of thousands at minimum would be dead. But even a single life is just horrendous. What followed the next day gave me a great sense of pride, where I also saw the worst tragedy in my lifetime on American soil. The next day I saw the greatest capturing of unity that I've ever saw in this country, where we all came together and vowed never again and to not allow these things to happen. And I think it put us on a great direction for a while. But ultimately, over the years and decades now, I think we kind of got away from that message, that feeling, that urge of unity, the very unity that created this country and ultimately we say we believe in and built this country on. Fast forward to these last couple of years, last couple of weeks, we had a horrible tragedy transpire here in Charlotte, where a Ukrainian refugee was attacked and murdered on a public transit system right here in our backyard. And absolutely, I'm still affected by it. I'm broken by it. I see everyone's outrage on social media. I too have outrage, but I think I view things slightly different. I don't see just one tragedy in that. I saw multiple tragedies. Number one, that young lady should have never been forced to be in this country, fleeing her war-torn country because of a psychopath madman ultimately creating a war in our country. And to think that's exclusive to other places, people aren't paying attention. I used to think those things don't happen here, but they do. And we're this close to having the same type of wars break out here because we allow politicians to have carte blanche, to have our voice, to do whatever they need to do or say, because that's what we voted for and that's what we believe, because we either believe one side or the other. But I saw this tragedy of this young lady, and immediately I thought, I have daughters, I have a wife, I have a family, I have friends. I could have been the person sitting in that seat. I also watched a video prior to that man stabbing her and watched him sit there talking to himself and having conversations with himself, and obviously in some kind of mental distress. I'm not a sympathizer and empathizer for anybody that commits murder, unless it's to completely, absolutely protect themselves in that moment. But I can't help but sit there and think that both of those people met in that moment because of broken systems, because of that woman's path and that man's path crossing at that moment. She should have never been here. She never should have had to run from her country to escape a war that shouldn't be happening. Meanwhile, we're still doing business with the same country. We're still working with the same country. Our leader's still meeting with their leader. And these things are happening. These awful things to humanity keeps happening. But it seems like we are very divided to the point we decide which murder's bad, which murder's maybe not bad but doesn't deserve as much attention. But I don't know how we got away from bad is bad. Murder is bad. Killing is bad. And that poor girl sat there in those moments dying with no one with her, completely alone, nobody to help her. And the reaction from those around her is disheartening. The actual murder itself was disheartening. But I have so many different takes and views on this. Like, that man obviously has a rap sheet that is very long. I dug around a little bit this morning and realized not only does he have a rap sheet, his brother had a rap sheet, his father had a rap sheet. They stayed in all kind of trouble, in and out of jails, in and out of prisons. But I would almost guarantee from the beginning in that man's life, there were warning signs. There were issues of mental health. There were issues of probably not performing or handling things like most normal people would in a school setting, in a normal setting. And we have this problem in the United States and across the world where we don't know what to do with mental health. Physical health, we can see physical ailments. We get doctors to try to fix that. We look to our experts, our scientists, our doctors to fix those things. But mental health is probably still one of the most misunderstood things we have as humans and as a society, because it's not a visual, in-your-face issue. It's not something you can always readily tell if someone is having mental problems. So I see a accumulation, a group of broken systems that allowed that to occur. That man obviously either needed to be incarcerated and kept away from everyone, or received at an earlier age the mental health assistance that he needed to try to live a normal life. But it's a tragedy nonetheless to watch that young girl get killed. Number one, I don't think any first aid that could have been administered even immediately could have saved that young lady's life, unfortunately. But it's absolutely disturbing and heartbreaking that everyone sat around frozen, didn't really react in any way, didn't try to intervene in any way, what have you. And it's disturbing. But at the end of the day, those people also had families to go home to. Maybe they were paralyzed in fear. Maybe they didn't know what to do. Maybe they were scared to get killed or whatever. But it's awful as a society that we watch these things happen over and over again, and people either don't react or they pull out their phone to capture it. That part we can agree on. It's something's wrong and something's broken. Fast forward to yesterday with the political speaker, activist, whatever you want to call him, Charlie Kirk, was assassinated during an event in Utah. And I've spent probably the last 24 hours or so since it's happened on social media more than I should. I've heard everybody's complaints. I've heard everybody's opinion. I've read and seen both sides. And ultimately, I think that's where we're at. We've become a country and a society of sides. You hear the rhetoric with our politicians. You hear it with society. It's become, you're either on our team and believe and agree with what I say, or you're an enemy and you're against us. And that ultimately, I think, is where we keep getting it wrong. The whole idea behind divide and conquer is built into our foundation by simply having Republicans and Democrats. We're a two-party system. We claim to have other parties, but at the end of the day, we have two parties, Democrat and Republican. And myself and most of the people around me identify maybe with one of these parties, but almost all people I meet and talk to think somewhere in between. It's not all black and white. Most of our lives are gray. You can't take a policy and expect it to fit everybody's needs, desires, issues, everything like that. But we've become so politically divided, so divided as a country, that you simply have to pick one side or the other. And if you don't pick the one side, the other side is automatically the enemy. Over the years, when I voice my opinion about any administration that's been around, since I've been able to know what administrations are and vote, if I say I don't agree with Bill Clinton, then I obviously support the opposition. Obama, same deal. Trump, Biden, or whatever. Anything I had something to say bad about Trump, oh, what about Biden? I don't give a damn about Biden. I didn't care who the leader is. I don't have to agree with everything they say. And neither do you. Many of us have a very unique life. Most of the people around me do not agree with what I say at any given point about anything. And I love that. In my very own household, if I take one subject between my wife and family and kids and I, we're not going to agree to it. We're not going to see eye to eye. But it doesn't need to lead to violence, and it most of the time doesn't. And that's what we built this country on, is having different opinions, different backgrounds, different perspectives that ultimately create this United States of America. I don't condone killing in any kind of way possible. It's just not necessary. We have minds. We have other ways to settle things. But I also hear both sides on this. You know, Charlie Kirk built his life and his career on being polarized, on saying very polarizing things that alienate complete groups, that turn people against certain groups for their socioeconomic status, religious status, sexual preference, what have you. So what I'm seeing is all these people now are this outpouring that they're sad and outraged that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and I stand with you on that. But where's the outrage for the other victims of gun violence every single day? And this is where it gets confusing. I am a gun owner, proudly, since I've been able to legally do it. I've shot and used guns since a very early age of my life. However, I don't believe in killing. I don't even hunt. Not saying it's wrong. I don't do it. I appreciate my guns for their target practice, for the mechanism that it is. It's a tool. It's something, hopefully, that if I ever am put in a situation that I have to protect myself, it's a tool to help me do so. But even in that instance, I hope to never use it. And I've been a repo man, I've been a bail bondsman, I've been all these things where I had to actively carry a firearm, and I prayed every time that I never have to use it. I carry a firearm with me everywhere I go, and I hope to never have to use it, even to protect myself, because at the end of the day, we're all human. And if the time you're celebrating someone's death is completely awful, even the ones that do the murdering, even the ones that get killed regardless of what they support or whatever, you're celebrating someone's death. And that I have a problem with, because none of us are born bad. None of us are born to a certain category, to a certain belief or whatever. We are all shaped from a baby to be who we are as humans. So every time someone's killed, whether it's someone you don't believe in, whether it's someone that opposes your beliefs, whether it's someone that was a murderer or whatever, celebrating that person's death, you're ultimately celebrating someone's child, someone's father, someone's husband, something else in it. And from a young child, I had toy guns, and we would play cops and robbers, cowboys and Indians, whatever have you, as a child, and we glorified this kind of violence. But let a nipple or a sex scene or nudity or something pop up on TV, and everybody in the room scrambling to pause or cut off or cover eyes or whatever. And I think from society, we've done that over and over again. We glorify and we allow violence to become everyday norm. But anything that involves love, sexuality, or whatever becomes an issue. And it's immediately, let's cover, let's protect, or whatever. All these things are real things in life, and it needs to be exposed for what it is. But you can't sit here and champion someone being a proponent of our First Amendment rights. I'm able to sit here and have this conversation in this camera with you all because of the First Amendment right. That doesn't apply just to me. It applies to everyone. So even if someone's saying something you don't believe in, they have the same right you do to have that opinion. And that's what makes America great, ultimately, is we have that option of opinion. You can't say you love freedom if it only applies to your freedoms, because if not, you don't love freedom, you love privilege. And freedom's not free unless we all have it. Same thing with the First Amendment right. We don't all have the right to speak our minds and have the freedom of speech if we don't all have it. It's not only certain groups get to have it. All my whole life, I've had to hear people spew things of hatred and division and ugliness that I'd take it and it would hurt to hear it. But in my mind, I'm going, that's what we got to do. price of freedom to freedom of speech is everybody gets a voice. But that should never cost you your life. And we can't condone certain things with certain situations and ignore it in others. Yes, Charlie's life was very precious and important like everyone else's. He's no different from the children that are getting killed in these mass shootings. He's no different from the gang member that gets killed on the Chicago streets almost nightly. These are all lives. And if you really break it down and boil it down to its ultimate what it is, it's all broken systems. And what we're seeing in this division today is exactly what happens in these hoods and these neighborhoods and everything else we read about on the news. You got two groups of people that don't agree with each other and claim certain land to be their own. If they feel disrespected or feel like they've been violated, retribution happens and they go after the other side. Someone gets killed, beat up, hurt, robbed, or whatever. Immediately this side goes after the other side to try to even the playing field. So literally, whether we're talking about small neighborhoods, or whether we're talking about a nation of states, or we're talking about other countries across the globe, it's the same problem. One action has an equal or worse reaction. And if you're doing nothing but spewing hate, regardless if it's politicized against genders, against races, against sexuality, that's all you're going to get back. Hate does not correct the problem. Hate just brings more hate. And ultimately, we are so hell-bent and so focused on which side we're on, we forgot to understand we're all on the same side of being a human, of being an adult, of being things that really matter. The amount of differences we have with each other is so little, but yet we allow society and we allow the media to pick these things and further drive us and divide us. I think we should absolutely mourn the death of this man, but let's also mourn the death of the other 3 people that were killed yesterday in a school shooting. And that's where myself and Charlie, our opinions differ. You know, he says to have this right to bear arms, the cost of it is people's lives are going to get taken, and that does happen. And I will agree, I'm neither Republican or Democrat. I used to fall for that, but I stopped. And here's where we're different, because I'll tell you, I agree with the conservatives saying banning these weapons does not end these murders, because people that go by or follow the law are going to follow the law, period. The ones that do not follow the law are going to break the law regardless of what the law is. So banning guns doesn't necessarily save lives. However, there are warning signs and red flags and everything else that certain people shouldn't own a gun. So I do think we need to take a real educated approach to how we view guns in this country, because, yeah, guns don't kill people, people kill people. I hear everybody's arguments. Banning guns doesn't stop deaths, doesn't stop these mass shootings or whatever, but this is something pretty exclusive to the United States. We don't have these issues in this massive amount in other parts of the world. So it's time to take a real comprehensive look on what we're doing. And if our children can't be safe going to school, nobody's safe. So I hate it for the Charlies of the world, but I hate it for our children. I hate it for all of us, because none of us are safe at any given point. Not everyone should be able to readily, easily, almost instantly access guns. There should be extensive background checks. And if there's warnings of mental health issues or violence or in the past, this should be enough to not allow this person to illegally obtain firearms. Does it fix the problem? Absolutely not. But at least we start headed to the right direction to try to not allow legally to obtain guns that probably shouldn't. So I'm sure there'll be people that have many opinions on this. It's like I've read all morning. Again, I'll be honest, I knew very little of this man assassinated yesterday. I've saw clips and things like that, but I've kind of done a deeper dive in the last 12, 24 hours or whatever to see more what he said. And I'll be honest, a lot of things he said I probably agreed with. A lot of it I definitely didn't. Either way, his life should not have been taken for his opinion. And what's crazy is I see all these people saying that they're seeing him now as a martyr, and the flags are flying at half-staff, and all these people are up in arms and heartbroken and crisis and all these other things. And I get it, but where's the outrage for the other deaths that happen daily? Since we started recording this just a few minutes ago, I'm sure 5 or 10 people across this country have probably been killed in the same way, if not worse. So we can't just pick and choose of when we're hurt and when we're outraged and when it matters to us, because it should all matter. Anytime one person is killed unnecessarily, it is all our problems. And until we address that, it's going to continue to happen. And the cost of someone's life shouldn't be valued on how popular they are, how much money they have, their background, what have you. A life lost, a life taken is horrendous and should never happen. So on this September 11th, 2025, my message to everyone is wake up, because the smallest things turn into the biggest things. And we become a nation divided down the middle. And until we get back to being united, we're no longer going to be that nation. We are the United States of America. Same thing with religion. You can't believe in freedom of religion as long as we're talking Christianity. Freedom of religion means Christianity, it means Muslims, means Jews, it means all the religions combined in this country is what we were built on and what it was formed on. So if you really say you believe in freedom, and you really say you believe in freedom of speech, freedom of religion, that freedom has to apply to everyone, or it's not a freedom at all. It's simply a privilege. So like everything we do, you got to get involved politically. You can't give full power to your candidate to think they have all your best interests at heart and you believe completely as they do. Nobody should have that much power. Nobody agrees with each other that much. We need to take a stand today to say it must stop. We need to have these conversations, sit in a room, and I actually want to do one of these podcasts soon. I want to bring in 2 groups of Republicans and Democrats and other people within that completely disagree with each other. And I want to get us all in the same room and get down to talking about what is it? Like, we can't say we're pro-life by saving someone from getting an abortion, but then they're forgotten once they're born. And we don't give them resources or even an opportunity to live a normal life. If we're going to really be pro-life, we got to see it through. You can't say you're pro-life, let someone to be born, and then forget about them once they're born. We have to take care of each other, whether you believe in Christianity, whether you believe in this country, whatever you believe. All of you seem to be missing the point. We're only as strong as our weakest link. We're only as strong as our most in need citizen. Our country was built on bringing in the sick, the weary, the needy. Christianity, the same thing. If you believe in Christianity, to think that Jesus or God or whatever hung out with only the people that thought the way he thought, believed in what they believed in, you're wrong. It's absolutely opposite of that. He hung out with the sinners, the prostitutes, the drug dealers, the whatever you want to call it. But we're all human. We all make mistakes, and usually the ones preaching the loudest about what to do and what not to do aren't living those things themselves. So you really need to take a good look on what you're digesting in social media and media, with your friends. If you're surrounding yourself with people that only think like you do, you're probably going to start heading to pretty dark places. None of my friends really agree with everything I say, and most of them are opposite, and I love that because it gives me a different perspective, because I haven't walked in their shoes. I haven't lived their life, and the same for me. But understanding and hearing these people's stories around me makes me an empath to their life. I don't have to understand it. I don't have to agree with it. But I do have to understand that it's different and there's reasons why. And really, we're talking about people that just because of where they're born, whether what country they were born in, what religion they were born into, their life has already started on a path they have no control over. So, yeah, we all have the same opportunities, but we all don't start from the same starting line. And we got to understand that privilege and opportunities are offered to many people that aren't offered to others. So it's time to get back to being human. It's time to get back to love. As cheesy as it sounds, love heals all. If we love each other for who we are, in that moment, meeting them there, not for who we want people to be, not for ideologies of how we want things to be, because it's never going to work. We have to accept each other for who we are and appreciate that. But in the meantime, we can't condone violence just because it's against someone we don't believe in, or because they don't look like I look or have the same money I have. We're all in this together, and we're only going to see things get worse, because with extreme views and division that are driven by certain talking heads and politicians, it's only going to create more hate and division, which brings on more violence. And it's only going to get worse until we realize that and stop feeding into it and take the time to cut off the TV, put your phone down, and do just what we're doing and have a conversation. Light a joint with your friend, light a joint with a stranger. Sit down and listen where they're coming from, and I guarantee you, you'll walk away feeling differently than you did walking into it. Communication is everything. When communication shuts down and extreme division happens, extreme results happen. With murder, with war, with beatings, lynchings, killings, what have you. And it might not be you today, but if we keep allowing it to happen, it's eventually going to land on your front doorstep. Trust me. We're all too comfortable, we're all too distracted, but this is all of our problems. Whether it's a Charlie Kirk, whether if it's a gang member, whether it's one of our soldiers overseas, every life matters and every death matters, and we've got to get back to that, or we're never going to move forward as a country, and it's only going to get worse. So that's my piece on that. Thanks for listening on that one. I could go on and on, but we'll leave it there. This is a show about life. This is a show about cannabis, and we try to cover all. So, in that being said, too, we have a lot of movement still in the cannabis movement. In Texas, overnight yesterday, Governor Abbott issued an executive order to make it 21 and up for any customer to buy these products, which we champion. We've been saying that. That's amazing. But on the back end of that is called for total THC testing, which ultimately would kill most of the market out there, and it would do away with flower in Texas. And Texas being the largest hemp industry within the United States, everyone kind of follows suit what happens in Texas. So keep your eyes on that. Governor Abbott has 10 days to refine or redefine what this law means. But ultimately, Texas, after all this fighting, could completely lose their industry. So whether it be politics, whether it be religion, whether it be laws or whatever, these things are happening every day that greatly affect us. And most of us don't even know it's happening or care, because we're comfortable enough in our own space. And until we're uncomfortable, who cares? It's not our problem. It's their problem. But whether we're talking cannabis, whether we're talking marital rights, gay rights, human rights, civil rights, they're all the same. It's not a their problem or them problem. It's an us problem. Until you get actively involved to let your voice be heard without violence and without division, there's always compromise to be made. I'm over a company now that has over 70 employees. I guarantee you all 70 of us probably don't agree on many things together. But we all agree that we love this plant, and we all agree we got a family to feed and our own selves to feed. And we're all here for the greater good, because we believe in this company, we believe in this plant, and we believe in each other. And that's what's going to propel us forward, and that's what's going to fix the problems we have. But until we are understanding that freedom of religion is just not for my religion, or freedom of speech just not for your speech, then none of us are free. So, with all that being said, this young man was sitting here with us, dealing with me ranting on. But thank you for being here.
I could have listened to you rant the whole time. That was absolutely well said. Well, I love that. That was great.
There's a lot more I want to say, man. I'm sad. I'm overall sad.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't even know you, but I care about you just like your kid, just like my own kid, you know, and that's how we should all feel, man. Like, life is precious. It's a miracle we're sitting here.
It is.
It's a miracle that we even conceived and to be born. And to be able to celebrate anyone's death is absolutely horrendous to me, because that's someone's somebody.
Right.
So I'm sad as an American, but I'm hopeful, and I'm hoping you're gonna bring me some hope today.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm first off.
Let's do that. Justin, what's your last name?
Giacalone.
Giacalone.
I
tried a few times. I definitely can't spell it. I've worked on pronouncing it since Jenna told me.
Giacalone, yes. And I'm 27 years old. I am an online and in-person fitness coach.
Okay.
I've been in the fitness industry ever since I graduated, since 2020 and COVID.
Okay. Where'd you graduate from?
East Carolina University.
Okay, ECU.
So yeah.
Is it true what they say about the parties out there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. It's just.
I've attended a few, but that was decades ago.
Oh yeah. It's definitely true on what they can do. It's just how you manage your time.
Sure.
Because I mean, I was in college. I partied. But I still went to class.
Right.
Still graduated. Got my bachelor's in exercise physiology, and then I've been in group fitness and in-person training ever since.
Right.
And then it's just started to creep into the online space as well.
I dig it.
Yeah.
You're an absolute stud. You look amazing.
Thank you.
I could definitely use more of this fitness thing or whatever, but let's talk about that. Obviously, not everybody has the same genetics, and overall, I've seen the country, including myself, we've become obese.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say it's an individualized problem, but when you see the statistics and the numbers out there, obviously this has become something more complex than you need to eat right and exercise.
Yes, it is.
So is that what you kind of dive in more to, or is
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So can I start with a story?
Please do.
Kind of like how I got into it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So essentially, how I got into fitness is actually when I was a kid. I'd say around like between 10 and 12 years old, when you're kind of in that awkward stage where you're about to hit puberty.
Right.
I got fat, and I got made fun of for being fat, and so that really dug deep into me.
Sure.
And I remember when I was 13, or I was an 8th grader, and my dad got me this little like bench set with like barbell bench press, a little lat pull down, and then like some leg extensions. And I hammered that 6 days a week. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, but I was going in and I saw my body transform.
Right.
And I was like, all right, this is like a really, really good feeling. And then as I was going through high school, didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I lifted all the time. Same thing in college. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to pick the major of exercise physiology because I think the science of exercise is super cool. Well, I got an CrossFit internship. And then after I graduated, COVID hit. So all gyms were completely shut down.
Right.
So I live in Charlotte. I had to go down to Rock Hill to go work because South Carolina was open.
Yeah, because COVID didn't hit South Carolina.
Yeah, basically. Right. Didn't hit South Carolina.
Right.
And
There's
so
different rules down there.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And so I got into Orange Theory Fitness. I became a fitness manager, and I was like, I love the feeling of my members coming in and leaving better than they came in, they left better than they came in.
Sure.
I love that feeling. I love like giving somebody a great workout. Well, I moved to Arizona, Tucson, Arizona, because that's where I grew up. That's where we grew up.
Right.
And just wanted to start a gym with my brother.
Okay.
But before I moved to Tucson, around in July, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, oh, crap, I got a surgery immediately. Found out it didn't spread anywhere else. So
thank goodness.
Yeah, thank goodness for that. And then I went there, and actually, my story's going to be a little all over the place. I'm not the greatest storyteller.
I'm all over the place too, man, so we're good.
I'm going to backtrack a little. When I turned 21, I was also diagnosed with hypothyroidism. When I got diagnosed with cancer, they got a CAT scan from my neck all the way down to my pelvis, and they found out, and like in the MRI report, that my thyroid, the right side, is absent or missing. My urologist, he was like, that's out of my field, but my mom does this, and she was like, that's why you've got hypothyroidism, because you don't have because we were all confused as to why I got diagnosed. None of my sisters, nobody in my family was diagnosed with it. And same thing with the cancer too. Like nobody died, so they were so confused as to why it happened. So that's how I got diagnosed with that. But anyways, I went to Arizona to start a gym. Didn't work out, and then came back, and I was trying to find my purpose.
Sure.
A little bit I went into data analytics because I was like, and in the world of fitness, it's hard to make a living. Yeah. It really is.
Sure.
But until you really start to get clientele and market yourself. So I went into data analytics. It took like a Google course for like 3 months. Didn't work out. And I came back to Charlotte. I'm like, this is my calling. This is my fitness. And I'm passionate about it because I know what it's like for my body to attack me.
Yeah.
And so that's why I go into it, and then I wanted to dive deeper into like what's going on, like why are people always overweight? And like you said before, it's dude, around every corner is a fast food chain.
Oh yeah.
And it's cheap too.
Right.
It's cheap too, and that's the thing that stinks about it. That's the story of why I got into fitness.
Makes sense.
Kind of. I know that was kind of all over
No,
the place.
I dig it. I love it. And funny for me, a story for me. I'm raised here in the South.
Yeah.
Every food either is fried or with mayonnaise or both.
Yep.
So
Good though.
it's
super good.
and also raised poor. We ate what we could afford. Fast forward now to 44 years old. I was an athlete previously in high school, and I worked out continuously. I've always been a big boy. I was 120 pounds in second grade.
Yeah.
Big boy. And I also went through all of that with the fitness struggles, the food struggles. There's been time I went Atkins and did great. There was times I tried to do a mostly vegetable diet. I did terrible with that one. And then in the frustrations of failure, I ultimately gave up.
Yeah.
And then also affording myself the time. I always afford the time to make money, to be there for my family, to work. But I always put fitness and my health last.
Yeah.
Where now I'm 44 and I'm forced with that decision every day. I'll be 45 this year. And I too, once I hit my 40s, where I could make fun excuses and jokes for my health or lack of is real now. And I've got 3 small children to live for, but it's so much more convenient to not do the right thing.
Right.
And you talked about affordability. You could go out here and get these highly processed foods at a fraction of what real foods cost you. Whole Foods cost you. But I guess where I'm headed with this is my frustrations. I feel like I'm damned if I do and damned if I don't. Everything I love is bad for me. If I could get an IV of Diet Coke or Diet Cherry Coke, and I probably would do it. I know it doesn't have the calories. I know it doesn't help me lose weight, but I love it. And that's a lot of the excuses I made for things. And even with my children, they're young. They only eat certain things, chicken nuggets, French fries, or whatever. But I'm like, man, I'm trying to set the example for them to do the right thing. Yeah. So what would you tell me or anyone else? What is the best first steps? Without overcomplicating, without going extreme into this diet or whatever, what's a great first step?
Find your why.
Okay.
Find why you want to change.
Sure.
That's what I dig into my clients, whether they're at Orange Theory, whether they're in the gym or online. That's how I talk to my audience is find why you want to make this change.
Sure.
And make sure it's deep enough. For example, I hear it all the time. It's like, especially like before summer in like March, I want to tone up for summer. I want to look good in a bathing suit. I'm like, that's cool. That's going to last you for maybe 2 months. After that, you don't stick to anything, and boom, you're back to where you started.
Right.
That why isn't deep enough.
Sure.
And so that's what I like to do. I like to dig into why are you going to do this? And it could be for your health. For most people, I tell you guys just to do it for your health. You're pulling out of your health loan. Because we all get one body.
Right.
And we've all got a health loan. It starts when we're born, and then it ends when we die, of course. But you adjust it based off of what you do to your body. And if you start to take the easy route, you start to pull out of your health loan, keep pulling out of it, and it's like at a point, it's just like, how much of it do I have left? And so that's why I like to dig into why you want to change.
Sure.
So for me, it was the story I gave you. I had hypothyroidism, I had cancer, and I'm like, you know what? I got to take care of my body now.
Right.
For you, it could be you want to set a great example for your kids.
Sure.
That could be your why as to why you want to do what you want to do. You know?
Yep. And that's, I guess, the challenge of health for me, like many of you. Like currently, I'm now day 16 without a cigarette, 15, 16, I think so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I quit for 6 or 7 years and started back, and then made every excuse in the book not to. So now I'm quitting. Now I'm doing this little vape thing just to get through the tough times. But I always said, the first time you smoke a cigarette, if it did what it was going to do over time in that moment, you wouldn't continue.
Right.
But it's just like that with food. If the first bad thing I ate for me immediately made me unhealthy and fat and sick and everything else, probably would end it there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that over time we allow things to keep going, and it's not to go look in the mirror or see yourself on camera.
Right.
You go, oh shit, I should have done some things differently, you know?
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't really care about myself because it was myself, but it wasn't until I had my family that I really started caring.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my frustrations that I always had, it's like everything else, whatever I did at that moment to make it better, the next study I'd read, the next opinion I talked to, the next health expert, the nutritionist I went to, this one said, you should do this. This one saying, you should never do this. Even like I just started walking, and, walking's got to be good. And everybody tells me I need to walk. Then you read these studies. Well, walking actually increases cortisol. You should not worry about cardio. You should do more weightlifting and all that. How much of that is actually general that fits everyone, or how individualized is every one of our health plans? And should we take a deeper dive with someone like you to find the granular idiosyncrasies of our unique body, or is there something for sure that works for everyone?
There's one thing that works for everybody.
Yep.
Consistency.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
That's the big thing that's going to get you to see real results.
Okay.
Like you talked about, like the smoking over time, the eating and everything. It's consistency.
Sure.
And that's the one thing. Now, it's hard because it's delayed gratitude.
Right.
Like you start working, because working out, it's not easy. Like today when I went to go lift, I was this close to being like, you know what? I could wait till tomorrow. Like I could. And
I've been going through that about 6 years, 7 years now.
It's hard. It's like it's just getting to it, but it's consistency.
Sure.
That's the biggest thing. So regardless if you do more strength training, you do more cardio, all these stuff.
Right.
And it's tough because a lot of these studies, and cortisol is labeled as the bad guy.
Right.
Your body makes it naturally.
Right.
It's actually the good guy. It's meant for you because it helps your body adjust to stress, and that's what exercise is. You put your body through stress, and your body finds a way to overcome it.
Sure.
So that's where increased muscle mass comes from, increased bone density. That's where your body starts to use the stored fat as fuel as opposed to, whatever you've eaten in the past. But that's what it's there to do.
Sure.
Now, with all the studies of it's like walking raises, I keep it as simple as possible. Find a routine that you like. That's it. Whether it be going to group fitness classes, whether it be just lifting a bunch, whether it be just like, you know what, I'm going to go on an hour walk. I'm going to start there. That is perfect.
And so you haven't mentioned sitting on the couch smoking a joint yet. So
right.
That doesn't work.
If you did, you know what, if you go walk and do it,
yeah, okay.
That's fine.
Fair enough.
Yeah, go ahead. If you walk, you know what? And I did a tiny bit of digging beforehand.
Sure.
There's positives to cannabis before working out, and a lot of it is reducing anxiety.
Sure.
Like a lot of people, why they don't go to the gym is because they don't want to be looked at.
Sure.
They're afraid of being judged. Like actually, one of my clients, she lives in Charlotte, and she's one of my friends, and then she was like, yeah, like she saw some great results. And she was trying to get some of our friends into it, and they were a little worried about what other people would think of when they go to the gym.
Right.
And I'm like, y'all, it's nobody cares.
Right.
Nobody cares.
Right.
And so with cannabis, it could help reduce anxiety.
Sure.
It can also help you focus.
Well, I think everybody's separate. It's crazy too. I over the years, you see on social media, and back when I did go to the gym, you would see someone extremely overweight. Yeah. Obviously doesn't know much about exercise or whatever, but they're there. And you do see occasionally people would snicker or make a comment or social media or whatever, but always it seems like someone would kind of come to the rescue or aid of that person, saying, "Hey, at least they're here," and 100%. That's the first step. So, but everybody's schedule is different and everything is different. So, not everybody has time to go to a gym an hour a day. Not everybody has time to meal prep for the whole week or whatever.
Right.
So, if you do decide to say, all right, all I got is 5 minutes a day to go for a walk, you're saying that's better to do that than nothing.
Yeah, just at least start.
Or at least start.
At least just start moving.
Yeah.
That's
the challenging part. Sometimes, it's just a lot of comfort in being comfortable.
Right.
And not uncomfortable.
Right.
But our greatest things come from being uncomfortable because I guarantee you, like you said, you didn't know what the hell you're doing. Mm-mm. And for me, when I played football, I mean, I had I had the typical high school football coach that didn't know shit. Just go in there, put as much weight on as you can, and lift it until you can't lift it.
We had the same thing in football.
Right.
Yeah, our head coach he wasn't by any means no strength and conditioning coach. So we did the same thing. It was just like, all right, we did what coach said, and went from there.
So, and you hear us often is abs are created in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that, or
they are created in the weight room, or in the gym or wherever? They are revealed in the kitchen.
Okay, interesting.
That's it, because you can have, and I'm sure you've seen people before. They don't have any body fat on them. Where are their abs? And
that's, I mean, I guess that's comparison is probably the greatest killer of all this because I could sit here and give you examples like some of the biggest potheads I know are also some of the best athletes I know. Some of them describe the high from cannabis as a runner's high. Mm-hmm. I know some people that have to smoke or whatever to go to the gym because they said it helps them focus and it helps them press on or whatever. And then there's other people say if I even hit a joint one time, I'm going to lay on the couch the rest of the day. So it's all individual things. So, I guess comparison kills the most because you see some people, it seems like they never work out and they got perfect physiques, and you got people that work out almost daily. I know some people that run daily and as damn big as I am. So, it's a challenge to see. And sometimes I know people that are great athletes and work out, but the results seem to never show.
Right.
So you think that's something that maybe they need to try harder, or maybe that's just the limits of their physique and their body?
No. A lot of it is, and there are people out there with like metabolic conditions where they have underactive TSH or underactive thyroid, basically, where their metabolism has a tough time kicking on, for lack of better words. But for the most part is knowing how much you need to eat.
Sure.
Your body does not defy, at least for the most part, does not defy the laws of thermodynamics. Right. And whatever you eat or energy goes in, energy's got to come out. So if you are eating more than you're burning off, you're going to be putting that on.
Right. That's simple, the calorie effect.
If you eat less, then you
But see, here's what's crazy, especially for me, when I was doing the Atkins diet, the carnivore diet, or whatever newfangled name they give it for today, I wouldn't just do it the normal way. I would sit down and eat 2 damn steaks or 3 cheeseburgers without the bun or whatever, and I was dropping weight massively. But I see, for me, if I look at a carb, I gain weight immediately. But everybody's like, you need those carbs for energy and everything else. So I guess for me, it's the confusion of exactly what I should be eating, when I should be eating, the amount I should be eating.
Yeah.
So in what you do, is it nutrition based as well as exercise based, or are you? So
I do more exercise based. I'm not a nutritionist, so I don't I don't write meal plans, but I go as far as like for my clients, for example, I give them macronutrients to target, and then I tell them to focus on calories and protein. I make it that simple.
Right.
That's it. So you don't have to dig deep. But I put the other macronutrients in there just in case.
Right.
If I need to monitor anything. But otherwise, calories, protein, break it down, keep it simple.
Sure. And me being on social media more than I need to be, I'm targeted because I am an older, overweight individual. But I see these ads and things for people that go and get blood drawn, and then they have customized nutrition, meal plans, whatever, based on their blood types and everything else. How much does that play into it? And do you think it's significant enough for everyone that has the means to be able to do that, or you think it's still just as simple as less goes in, better results?
So when you talking about blood type, like O blood, A
well,
blood,
I guess for the wealthier people and people that have the means, they have these doctors they can go to and get all panels pulled, and they go, well, because of your blood type, you should probably eat more red meat or avoid carbs, or gluten is what's making you bloat, or those kind of things. I didn't know if I should maybe, because one of the ladies I follow that I'm good friends with, Tip, she just went through an extreme weight loss through surgery and diet and everything else. and couldn't quite get to her goal that she wanted to be at, even though she lost tremendous amount of weight.
That's awesome.
What's up, Tip? I hope you're watching.
That's awesome.
But she went and had the doctors do that allergy test where she lays on her stomach and they sit there and prick her with all these different types of foods and things and see what her body reacts to. And she found out through that most of the things she enjoyed eating, even though clean, was causing her to bloat and swell and everything else. So I was just wondering, in your opinion, how much of that comes into it, or do you still think it can be overcame by simple diet and exercise?
So when it comes to like stuff that bothers your body, like if you have an allergic reaction or an allergy, or like your gut bloats to, say, gluten, for example, then I would steer away from that, just because it's not necessarily the food that's going to be great for fuel, but it's not going to make you feel comfortable.
Right.
So that when you don't feel comfortable, you're less likely to do things. So when it comes to stuff that causes you to bloat or you're allergic to, just don't eat it.
Well, when you're permanently bloated,
yeah,
it's kind of hard to figure out what's doing it.
Yeah.
But you know, it all comes together. You're stressed, you're busy, and I also have this thing called a dad tax in my house because I got small children.
Yep.
And, you know, they left that damn nugget laying there or whatever. I don't want to throw the nugget away. So I pop the dad tax in the mouth. So it's all about environment things. I'm really trying to build a better, I try in my house. It's easier said than done to lead by example and not by what I say.
Yeah.
And like I said, growing up, my mom was the thin woman, and her being a mom, just make sure her kids are fed, and it didn't matter what the hell they want, just make sure. So it's nobody's fault but my own. But it's the inconsistencies and things of information I take in, or discouragement, where there was times I felt like I ate cleaner than ever for a month and worked harder for every month, and I go step on the scale and I gain 5 pounds.
Yeah.
And then the next month I'm like, the hell with it, I'm just gonna do what I want, and I lose 10 pounds. So then it's like, well, shit, I might as well just do what I'm doing and lose 10 pounds. But truly, I've been between 290 and 340 since middle school.
Okay.
So again, even my doctor's like, if you read the chart, at my height at 6'1", I think I'm supposed to weigh like 190. And for me at that point, I feel like I don't think I would be comfortable with myself. Plus, everybody would probably try to fight me. It seems like last time I lost weight and I was a bouncer, it seemed like all of a sudden everybody got courage.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, I float between 185 and 190. Okay. And I'm 5'9".
Right.
So I try not to have y'all focus on the scale too much. The biggest thing is just trying to do something for longer. Like, so you say you would stick to it for about a month, right? You would do it for a month?
I did it longer than that, but yeah, that's when the discouragement.
Yeah, that's when
everybody January 1, new year, new me bullshit. So but come February, it's like, just fuck this.
It's like, you're like, forget about this. This is hard. But yeah, I would say just it would just be trying something, an exercise routine that you could stick to for 3 months. And like, you're a dad, so your time is very, very limited.
Yeah.
So it essentially would be, basically. I'm actually, my cousin's got 2, he's a cop, and he's got 2 under 2, I believe. Nice. And he ain't got no time.
Right.
So it's just so what I did for him is he's got a gym at home. He's got a little like setup at home. So I'm like, 30 minutes, just do it.
So you eat a lot of donuts?
No, actually.
I didn't know if that was a myth. I ate a lot of donuts, and I'm not a cop. So.
He and he's like, and also we like talking to him about like, he's like, I don't want to be full because I might have to, especially on a shift, he might have to take off or like go chase somebody.
And it's something you use that word full. I don't know if it's instinctual, it's something in us or whatever, but I enjoy the way full feels, right? And everybody I talk to is like, you should never feel full. How's your take on that? Because like, to me, like, full, I want to walk out literally holding my stomach going, damn, that was a good meal, I'm full. You know? So like,
there's 80%, so I kind of like label my fullness as 80%, 90%, and 100% full. Where 80% full, you're like, all right, I'm full, like I feel, but I could eat a little bit, I could have a little bit more if there's like or 90% full, it's like, I'm like holding my stomach, I'm like, that was a meal. And then 100% full, I'm laying back, I'm like, that.
I spend a lot of time in that 100% range. What's crazy is I do great all day. Well, I don't do great. I do good all day. And then when I get home, when the day's settled and I start that eating cycle, it's like there's no end in sight. I've heard that if you eat more proteins, it'll help off balance that or whatever. And I tried all different ways, but it's like, I'm a very extreme person. It's like all or nothing kind of deal, and I hate that about myself at times. But and then discouragement usually just quickly just the hell with it. We'll deal with it tomorrow, and then the next day. Now it's been 6 years since I stepped in the gym.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's incredible though. So besides your own success story, do you have another success story that you love that sticks with you of your passion or who you helped or someone that you've helped turn their life around?
So it was her, it was one of my members, and this was from like 2020, right before I left. She was a teacher, and she would tell me, and I'm not going to mention her name, but she would tell me that she was, like, her students were mean to her.
Kids are the worst.
And she would teach in juniors or seniors. So these kids they're like, they think they're invincible basically, so they were mean.
Right.
And then she came in, she would come into the 5 super early in the morning or later in the evening, and she would work her butt off. And she stayed consistent with it for 2 years. Ended up running a half marathon recently.
Nice.
And so that inspired me.
That's incredible.
And all of my at the time, all of my coaches, we all tried to help her get to where she wanted to be.
I love it.
And she sent each of us kind of like a little like Instagram DM, and it was heartfelt. I love it.
And here's a funny take too that I can tell you. When I did, there's a few things that kind of was interesting and also pissed me off. When I did lose a bunch of weight, everybody's nice. You look incredible. You look so good. All these other things. It's like, well, damn, where was these comments when I, And then you get all this attention from the women that weren't there before, and and all that. So it's almost like it's a good thing, but in a way, it's like, well, damn, we judged on this or whatever. But what was important to me is how good I felt. And I have family members and friends that also went through their weight loss journey, and I always saw them for who they are. Mm-hmm. The biggest transformation that I saw is how they felt and how they carried themselves because of how they're feeling. So I've also wondered sometimes, like, how much the emotions play into it, where depression and things like that, because they were always the great people I always knew them of. But it's like once that burden of how society viewed them was eased or whatever, they became a whole different person. So it's particularly my sister, when she lost 250 pounds, I think, at one point. Yeah. And she's managed to keep it off over the years or whatever. But watching that transformation, just because we go to sporting events and stuff, and she'll tell you this too. I remember one game we went to Panthers game, and we like to stand the whole game to watch the game regardless. But one of the ladies behind her was like, I bet she wants, because they were wanting us to sit down, I bet she won't sit down because she can't fit in that seat. And that, like, I spent the rest of the game turned around facing this woman, belittling her the entire time. But after my sister lost weight, we went back and sat there. And even recently, we went to a water park in Tennessee, and my kids were so excited to go, whatever. And we walked up these stairs. I'm carrying this big ass raft, and I get up to the top, and there's a scale there, and it's like, oh, you're too big to ride this ride. And I had to not only not ride the ride, I had to walk back down with my daughter and things like that. So there's these different reminders to me that I'm not ideal shape, size, weight, or whatever for things out there, and it normally doesn't affect me, but it's those little points that go, oh damn, I need to do better. But at the same time, it's like kind of part of me is wanting to say, fuck y'all, I'm just as athletic as the rest of y'all, I just don't fit on your stupid float. So it's a constant struggle of mental health and timing and everything else. So I guess besides just get going, what, like, you hadn't met me, we hadn't met, I walk into your gym or whatever, what's the first thing you're doing with me that day to get me on this path?
As you were one of my clients, I would, like I said earlier, I would dig into like what you came in to do, why are you doing this, like what's caused you to.
So I told you what I told you today. What's the first step for me?
Okay, it would be, all right, well, I would first tell you, be like, all right, you know what do you like to do?
Right.
I'd be like, all right, because if you're like, oh, man, I hate cardio, we ain't gonna do cardio right now. We're gonna get you moving. Either
I hate cardio because my knees don't work.
Yeah. So then we won't have you we won't have you walk.
Right.
Might have you put you on a bike just to get you warmed up, and then be like, you know what? Hey, you ever lift weights before?
Oh yeah.
We're gonna go do some weight training.
Yeah.
That'd be the first
thing. Yeah, I mean,
I
played football. I was I think 7th grade. I was in the 1,500 pound club, and without ever working out before or whatever. And I think by high school, I think I was 3,000 pound club. So I mean, lifting weight is natural because I have to do it every damn day. It's just doing it on a consistent basis. So, but yeah, it's a journey that I feel like I have to mentally get myself ready for to do it, and I'm tired of making the excuses also.
Yeah.
So, it's a struggle every day. We all try to do a little bit better. But with all that being said, if someone is wanting to start this journey, where do they come find you? Where can we find you? What gym do you work at? Do you have social media?
Yeah, so I'm actually gonna be moving to Savannah here in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
But I'm on Instagram. It's at Fitness by JG.
Okay.
And I'm here to answer any questions, especially like when you talk about like, hey, I saw this on Instagram, or hey, I saw this on TikTok.
Right.
What do you think of it? And I try and break it down as simple as possible. So
you're now in Savannah. If someone wants to do it here in Charlotte, you said you're also online. How does that online coaching work? Are you with them in the gym on the phone?
How's that? Okay. So yeah, I could do it as far as I actually have a few people that I FaceTime, and I walk them through anything. I show them the exercise, what to do. But I've also got an app. It's called Train Heroic, where I put the exercises in, and there's videos of the people doing it. But since I'm there, I can correct them. I tell them how to do it. I show them how to do it. Or there's also where it's like I want kind of more hands off. I write them a program. It's also got videos of the exercises, and then I go and look, and there's a place where they can write notes. And whenever I look at those notes, and also you can rate the workout at the end.
Okay.
And I look at those notes, and I'm like, all right, like if they've had knee pain, doing a curtsy lunge, for example, I'll ask them about it. But it's more of just like, I write this for you, and you can go do it. I go as far as doing it.
I guess that's what, too, I always wondered, like, say time is an issue, money is an issue, resources. Is there an ideal amount of time or heart rate target or something like that you try to get people to?
So I tell people, I'm like, you don't need to go in for an hour.
Okay.
20 to 30 minutes to start. That is perfect.
High intensity workout or just normal? Or
just, if you're just starting out, just going in and moving. Just like going in, get your heart rate around 60% of your heart rate max. Or honestly, I would say just like feel like you've broken a sweat for the most part. That's all. Just to start.
Sure.
That's it. You don't have to do some sort of extensive workout, some extensive routine. Find something you like and just go, even as far as like, you see a video on YouTube or like Instagram, and you're like, I think that routine's kind of cool. And since you're busy,
I'm still looking at the one where you can sit down and your body just
you just kind of like you can.
I tried it with the TENS unit one time to see if that'd give me abs, but that didn't work out.
You could sit there and like go into rigor mortis for 10 minutes. That just won't feel very comfortable. You'll cramp up.
But yeah, man. So, but I love it. I love to hear your journey. I can't wait to see where you go with all that. This is a show somewhat about cannabis. We'll touch on that. I know you're not a cannabis user.
Right.
Ever tried it?
Yes.
Have you? Didn't like it? Or just doesn't fit with the...
So I've done it, and when it ties to the cancer thing, supposedly, and it wasn't like too much, but I've heard from a doctor, it's like, it's not great. It's not the greatest for testicular cancer. And I was like, all right, I just didn't do anything about it. So
good to know.
So everybody's
all different. Yeah. Because I probably need to be a lot more like you anyway, and do less things and better things. But,
I mean, it's great. I mean, but when I did use it, I was...
At 27, I could have whipped your ass, though, for sure.
Yeah, I was about to say, I bet you.
Nah, man, it's all great. It's all love. But, yeah, so they can find you on Instagram, any place else, websites, anything else. I'd love to promote you.
Yeah, that's it. I'm also on TikTok as well.
Cool.
With Fit by JG, so.
Yeah, check this man out. Support him. We can all do better. I want to get 1% better every day. And I'm opposite of most people where I'd like to get bikini ready. I usually do the best of my fitness and looking better and feeling better in the wintertime because I don't like being outside when it's 100 damn degrees.
Yeah, who does? Who does, really?
Right. So, but it's awesome, and thank you. And you actually, you inspire me. More than ever, I'd like to try to do better, and maybe you can help me along with that journey as well as the other people's out here. And if I lose enough weight, we can sit and smoke a joint together.
There you go.
All right, that works for me.
Yeah, I was about to say, there we go.
Yeah, but thanks. Is there anything else you want to leave the people with as we wrap up here?
Yeah, I just want to say, when it comes to just, and especially with what you talked about earlier, we're all people. We all come from the same place. We all come from our mothers. And the only thing that's going to bring us together is just love each other. That's it. It's a lot harder to love than it is to hate. And who cares if that person thinks, as long as you take the time to listen to them and take the time to, and actually listen. Don't just wait your turn to talk, but actually listen. You're going to understand their story, and you're going to understand a lot deeper. That's all I have to say.
And I think sometimes understanding isn't necessarily the same as acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to accept everything. You don't have to believe what everybody else believes. But understanding where that person comes from will most likely change perspective every time.
Yes, 100%. It's just listening, like you said,
Accepting. That's it. But we'll wrap it up with that. Somber day on this September 11th. I love each and every one of you in this room, on this camera. I love people for who they are. I love our indifferences. I love our vast backgrounds of religion and food and everything. Culture is what makes us unique and special and different. And that's what I want, because if we were all the same, how fucking boring is that? Embrace differences.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean you have to go out and be gay just because you understand your gay friend, or you don't become a Muslim because you sit and listen to your Muslim friend or your Christian friend or your rich friend or your poor friend. We all matter. And whether you believe in a God or not a God or whatever, really we got to believe in each other, because it's what we got right here, right now. And we got to believe that our neighbor has our best interests and we got theirs. Because